Got my flex hose to my inlet. And then I've gone to Pex, ready to go. So we're not far from putting some water in this thing. And well, here we go. Here's the beginning of my Pex A adventure. So I got my DeWalt Pex A tool. I've just got started. I'm starting here on the city water part and got my flex hose to my inlet. And then I've gone to Pex. There is my check valve. That is a shark bite check valve. And then I'll be dropping down to a T. I'll bring you up to date as I get a little bit further along. Again, I'm kind of feeling my way through this one. It's probably another one of those places where, as they say, I know enough to be dangerous. I think we got a good start on it. I think what plumbers have told me is true. The Pex A, when it's a little chilly out, it's pretty hard to work with and get it to run straight. As you can see, I've tried to straighten it out as much as I can. So this is the start of my manifold. As you can see, I have the pump system. Then there are the check valves. We've got the check valve there from the pump system. Then we have the second check valve here from the external, the city water source. We come down and we're headed out through our manifold, catch our kitchen sink, catch our hot water heater, then on to the toilet, into the shower as those rooms get built out. So, as I've learned experimenting with the Pex A, you get started, you watch your joints, because there's nothing saying if you pull too hard, they won't come apart until they're thoroughly compressed. Unlike the Pex B, that when you put that clamp on, it's pretty much there, but I do like the experience with this stuff. I am hoping the shark bites are okay, though. Everything I hear about shark bite is really good. They are expensive. Those were 20 bucks each for those. But I looked, and I'll tell you what, unless you did the whole thing where you got a regular check valve and then put ends in it, and which was ugly. So I think we're good with this. Of course, we've got the winterizing kit put in and the attachments. So next, I think we'll be attaching the tanks. Oh, so I think you can see I took some treated plywood here and I cut small pieces. Then I used the foam construction adhesive and I attached those down on top of the foam, which is adhesive to the wheel wells. So, and then I put our clamps in. I know a lot of people let the PEX just float, but it's hard for me to let something float. I'm a strap it guy. I need to see things strapped in place. So, all right, there we go. I think we got a good start on it. Next, I got to figure out how to strap these tanks in before I get too much more carried away with the tanks. Okay, I got my tanks all tied down. Only thing I'm feeling a little sketchy on is the way I did this one to the end with the plastic banding. Goes back and it ties to the back side of this wall. Boy, I can't imagine that could pull loose. But, you know, you never know. So on the side of the tank, I got it connected to the side of the cabinet. As you can see, I've got this rubber matting in every place. There's a point of contact so we're not rubbing against wood or something. Including here, I've got this pinned down here on the gray water tank so it can't move side to side. I don't know that I'm going to put anything out on the end of this tank, primarily because it's going to get in the way of dealing with getting the gray water out possibly, and I don't think I need to. I think this tank is pinched in here pretty good between the mat between them and the mat on the bottom and the back side. So I think this tank is pinned in here pretty good. I think both of them are. I don't think both of them are going to go anywhere, to be honest with you. I'm not even sure I really needed the banding, but in my head, it was a good idea to have it there. So at least now I can start piping into the tanks because the tanks are where they go. Well, last thing for today, I got the tank drain in. And as you might notice, there's a coupling in there I don't seem to need. After I drilled this hole, had the nipple down, the 90 and everything, I went ahead and I had everything ready to go and took the old expansion tool and stuck it in the end of the bald pipe and expanded the bald pipe without the expansion ring in it. Well, guess what? After you do that, it's pretty much shot. You're not going to get it on. Trust me, I tried and tried. So I had to run to the hardware store to get couplings. Now, why? I was arrogant enough to think I could start a project like this, being I've never done this before with this Pex A. Why I thought that I could do this without having some couplings, don't know. Can't tell you, but if you're going to do this, make sure you have some couplings because odds are better than not, you're going to need them. Lesson learned. Tank drain is in. Tanks are tied down. It won't be too long. Got the vent in. That was the other thing. Got the vent all tied up around. Vent is tied in and ready to go. So we're not far from putting some water in this thing, and we can at least do some pressure testing. Have to probably put some valves and caps in and stuff, but might be able to do some pressure testing. Before I get too far along, I sure would like to pressure test this before I get the top on it. Although there'd be plenty of open room, so one way or another. And it's time to try to clean this mess up. It's getting worse. I don't know if the rest of you are this way, but it doesn't take me long to get a mess. That's for sure. Well, I've been waiting and my fill hose finally came in. Had to get a little creative on how I put this in. I couldn't put the fill on that end because the other tank was there. Had to put it on this end and had limited space. Tried to find hard fittings, but nothing fits that odd size. And I'd heard some people say they don't like these things, these fill hoses, and predominantly because you can only use them at the cutoff points, which is a problem. And as you see here, I'm kind of running at a little bit of an angle, which makes me a little crazy, but it is what it is because I knew that I had to cut it off only at that spot. So really a lot more flexible and rigid than what I imagined. That bent so nice right there. Everything fits, so I'm going to say thumbs up. I'm happy with it. I'm not really happy with the way it looks, but you'll never see it. But got my fill hose in, so I'm not far off. I'm going to put some water in this thing and I'm going to test it and make sure I don't have any leaks or anything in it. Got a lot of little parts and stuff, but probably the part I'm most worried about are these check valves that are the shark bites. I don't know. The Pex A with the rings, I'm not worried about those. Those aren't going to leak. But these other things in the silencer hoses, some of this stuff is, again, I'm out of my element here, folks, but I'm working through it. It's like with the fill hose. Boy, before I use this stuff, because number one, it's expensive. And number two, I hear a lot of people complain about it, but I think the reason they complain about it and the leaks I've seen people have is simply because they've tried to cut it where the green swirl is, and you can't do that. You have to cut it on those white bands. That's the only place you're going to get a seal with your clamps. All right, we'll have to take a look at it. I'll have to bring you back when I do get some water in it and do some pressure testing. Well, the good thing about Pex A, it's easy to take apart and redo, so I'm learning to use couplings again. So I kind of cut this apart, redid it. I'm hoping to test the water system for pressure this afternoon, the cold water part. So I went ahead and cut it, and my issue was here on the end, I wanted to make sure that these stub ups were supported somehow, and figuring out a way to do it was really tough. I really looked at it for quite some time, and finally I came up with this. It's an L bracket mounted over to the wall, 2x4 with some 1-inch holes drilled in it. And that way the water just tees up and it's supported in there. And then the hot water, which you see on the back side there, the hot water starts out there. The hot water on the backside valve right here, that will go up to the hot water heater, and then this one will end up going over to the faucet. Then the stub goes down, and that's headed over to the shower. And of course, the cold water on the other side of it headed that way is for the shower and for the toilet. So let's see what we got. Like I said, stay tuned later this afternoon. I'm going to drop some water into this tank, and I'm going to give it a try. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth on the plumbing system. So I went ahead and I got a blue jug today, a water jug. Once I filled it with 6 gallons of water, I learned I'm too old to do this now. There's no way I can pick up a 6-gallon jug all the way up above my waist like that and put it in there. So here's what I got. Look at this little handy thing. $17.99 at Harbor Freight. And it goes on any drill, self-priming. Got it to the blue water jug. Now, I've gone ahead and I've tried it to see if it primed and pumped, and it pumps well. So I'm going to go ahead, and I haven't tried to yet, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get some water put in this thing so we can go inside and see what's going on. So I don't know if I can give you an idea of how well this pumps. Pretty good amount of water. And that's with kinks in it. So here we go. Gonna see if we can get some water in the tank. All right, let's make sure we don't have water all over the floor. Well, I don't see any water. Let's turn on another light. Don't see any water anyplace. Looks like it's filling it up. Well, looks like there's a 1/2 inch on the bottom. Nowhere near enough yet to even test it. But it would have been nice to know if water had been running out on the floor in here. So we got the moment of truth here. I think this valve, there we go. Got the valve turned on. I believe that's on. Still no water any place that I see, thankfully. We got about 1.5 inches of water in there. I did wire the pump up. I temporarily got a pump control mounted up here. So, and I got my pump wired in temporarily hooked up to the sub panel. So we should be ready to go. So let's see. You're going to get to see live for the first time with me. As you can see, I got this valve open. Got it into the same jug. Here we go. Pump is priming. And we got water going through it. Okay, let's shut this valve off. We'll pressurize this thing. There we go. So, I'm a little scared. I don't see any leaks. Let's go around the back side and let's look at the stub end. No leaks on the stub end. Of course, the hot water isn't hooked to anything yet. I don't see. Supposedly this Pex A, if you put it on with the tool correctly and stuff, you're not supposed to get any leaks. But it is me doing it, so. And it looks like my check valves were all in the right way. And I don't see them leaking. That was the biggest thing I was worried about, is these check valves leaking. Guess we'll leave some pressure on the system for a little bit and see. Now, I don't know that I've got enough pressure really to try with this little drill pump to be able to even try the city water hookup. The hookup that I hope actually, honestly, I hope I never, ever, ever use it. Because that's not, as I've told you all, that's my nightmare, is to be in an RV park. I'd rather have this parked out behind the house in the driveway or something. You know, it'd be a lot cheaper and you have a lot more privacy than being in an RV park. So no leaks. Let's turn it on again. Well, you can hear that little inrush. That accumulator must be storing that pressure. Yeah, we're starting to draw some bubbles. Yep, we're sucking air in it already. We suck some air. All right. Well, we'll dump this back in and we'll try it again here. Okay, I've had it pressurized now for 10-15 minutes. I don't see any leaks, but down here on the floor, I don't know if you can see that, I got some water pooling up. Now, when I pulled this jug out earlier, a whole bunch of water came out of the end of this hose and ran down. So I'm hoping what it is that water ran down here and is pooling up. So I'm going to have to get that wiped up and take a look at it. I can't feel any water on the bottom of any of these lower fittings. So we'll have to see. No leaks from the fill that I can see. No leaks from anything as the system is now under pressure. But I'm going to leave it under pressure here for a while and we're going to see. All right, I'll let you know on this. The puddle isn't getting any bigger. So I think it's from when I pulled this hose out of the jug earlier and water went down. I think it just followed the mat down. Well, it's been about 5 minutes. I wiped it all up. I don't see anything. But I think I better leave water in this tank. You know, I was going to use the tank drain and drain it out. But I think I better leave water in this tank. If I've got a leak on one of these lower outputs here, one of the lower hubs where I'm connected, I think I need to know about it before I get 30 gallons of water in this thing. Then we'd have a problem. All right. Well, I'm going to keep an eye out on it. Hopefully this isn't an issue. Again, I don't see a drop of water anyplace. And I can't feel any water dripping or anything off either one of the pipes coming out of here. On the other side, I've used Schedule 80 PVC, and I've used the really good blue tape, Teflon tape. Everything should be really tight on that. So unless the tank itself's leaking, but boy, I don't see anything. I think it was from the water I spilled. And as it spilled, I went through it in my head, the whole, oh, this is going to create a nightmare because now I'm going to find water and not know where it's from. All right, well, between running that pump to fill the water tank and just catching up on battery charges, I got a lot of batteries to get charged. And it is a good day for it. It is bright sunshine. Let's see, what are we doing here? I don't know if you can see that. Probably see it better than what I can. Looks like we got about 299 watts or 59 charging it, like 181 coming in to the Delta 2. And let's see if the solar's keeping up with it. Oh no, solar isn't quite enough. Looks to me like it's drawing off 43 watts from the batteries, plus the solar. I'll take a look at the servo and I'll screenshot it for you. I'll post it exactly what's going on. And by the way, as we get older, one of the worst things we can be doing is testing water when you have to use the restroom. Trust me, not a good thing. And update, it's been quite a while now. No water down here. I don't see any water at all. So it must have been water that I spilled out. So good news all around. Well, if you excuse me, I need to take a walk to the restroom.